humans can see pretty well. Not the best, but it works. Until nightfall. Then our eyes are basically useless. But turn the light out on a nocturnal predator, and they'll see just fine. Okay, so before we look at other animals' eyes, let's take a look at our own. Okay, so looking at the outside of your eye, we can see the iris, which is the colored part. Then we can see the pupil, which is the bit that lets different amounts of light in depending on the current light levels. Going back a little bit, we can see the lens right behind the pupil and the iris. This is what helps focus the light onto the back of the eye. Sometimes the lens isn't properly shaped and can't focus light correctly, which is why some people need glasses. Now all the way at the back of the eye, there are cones and rods. There are 3 types of cones in the human eye. Each one is sensitive to different wavelengths of light, red, green, and blue, giving us color vision. Now cones only work in high light levels, but then there are rods. Rods can't see color, but they can see well in low light levels. Okay, so why can cats see in the dark but we can't? Well, that's because their eyes have something ours don't. Cat eyes have a tapetum lucidum, which is a reflective layer behind the back of the eye that reflects light back into the eye, giving their retina a second chance to absorb it. This is also why cats have glowing green eyes when you see them in the dark. While on the topic of eyes, do insects really see in the kaleidoscope vision that they do in TV? Well, arthropod eyes are called compound eyes. Each compound eye is made up of multiple ommatidia, each of which being like its own little eye. Each ommatidium has a lens, light-sensitive visual cells, and pigment cells to separate it from its neighboring ommatidia. Thousands of these combine to form sort of a mosaic. So yes, insects do see in a mosaic-like vision. This mosaic is kind of pixelated though, so it doesn't allow for sharp vision, but it is extremely good at detecting motion. Now, animals with really sharp vision are birds. Birds have flatter eye shapes, unlike humans' round eye shapes, which lets more of their visual range be in focus. They can also change the shape of the lens much more rapidly than we can. And birds of prey have a very high density of light receptor cells to maximize their visual acuity. But that is only for visual light. What if you could see heat with your eyes closed? Then you'd be a snake. Snakes can sense infrared radiation, more commonly known as heat, but they don't do it with their eyes. Pit vipers, for example, have little pits on their face that can sense heat. The pit is a deep pocket with a membrane stretched across it. This allows for there to be air on either side of the membrane. The membrane is full of many heat-sensitive receptors, allowing them to sense heat. But unlike light receptor cells, they don't detect the infrared light. They just detect the warming of the organ, which technically doesn't make this a vision superpower, but I'll let it slide. But what about the other end of the spectrum? What about ultraviolet? Well, enter the bee. Bees, like humans, have 3 types of cones and can see 3 types of colors. Humans can see red, green, and blue light, but bees can see green, blue, and ultraviolet light. They use this UV vision to see flowers as bright, flashy landing pads, which makes getting nectar easier. So to sum up, we may think we have the best eyesight, but we can only see a sliver of the world that the rest of the animal kingdom sees. If you could have the vision of one of these animals, or another that I didn't mention, what would it be? Let me know in the comments down below, and thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.